Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is a 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander SE Black Edition. Now your old buddy Dietrich has driven just about everything aside from exotic cars that's been built in the last 25 years, but I was thinking about it the other day and it dawned on me, I haven't driven any Mitsubishi that I can recall since my buddy's Evo 10 that was all modded out and swilling E85 a couple of years ago. So I thought, you know what, let me see what Mitsubishi's doing. So I'm going to review this 2023 Outlander SE Black Edition for you today. Now, interestingly enough, because Mitsubishi is a relatively small automaker with limited means and it's very expensive to develop new models, this is actually based on the Nissan Rogue. They share the same chassis, but they differ in a few key ways. So what I'm going to try to do today is help you decide which is the better one to buy, since I have already reviewed a 2023 Nissan Rogue as well. So we are going to go over the details and the differences on these cars. We're going to talk about the styling on the Mitsubishi. We'll have a look at the engine and transmission. We'll measure out the cargo space. We'll look at the passenger space, including the third row seat in this car. We'll look at the convenience features and we'll also look at the safety features. And at the end, I'll give you my concluding thoughts about which one I would recommend that you buy. And as always, if some of that sounds interesting and some of it sounds boring, check the description below for timestamps. We'll start by talking about the styling on this Mitsubishi Outlander, and I think that this is one of the car's strongest suits. I really do like the aggressive front end with all the lights and stuff. I think that Mitsubishi is really making a play to stand out in a crowded marketplace, especially as a smaller company. And in my opinion, it works. You do notice one of these things whenever you see one on the road. And I think that the bold front end styling is a good look. From the side, there's not a whole lot to be said. It pretty much just looks like an SUV, although I will say that I really like the 20-inch black wheels on this Black Edition. You also have the black mirror caps, some other black trim around the vehicle. So the Black Edition is a nice package as well. That's something to recommend. I think the rear end looks cool at night. I like the long sort of tail lights on the back of it, and I think that's a good look as well. So I think overall, the Mitsubishi is a bold looking SUV without looking too crazy or weird. They mainly confine the real boldness to the front end, but I really like the look. I like all the lights, so it works well for me. Now we're going to move up front and talk about the engine and transmission. Of course, this being based on a Nissan design, it does have a Nissan engine. This is Nissan's PR25DD, 2.5 liter four-cylinder, naturally aspirated, no turbo, 181 horsepower, 181 torque, and it's hooked to a CVT transmission, of course. Now, with all that being said, this engine actually feels stronger than its power ratings would suggest. I was pretty impressed with it, especially when I was first driving it. When I first got in the car 3 days ago, I honestly didn't know what engine it had, and I was thinking, has this thing got a small V6? Has it got a turbo? Nope, just a regular 2.5 liter four-cylinder. It is pretty refined as far as four-cylinders go, and it also gives you good acceleration. And I'll tell you something else. As part of my car testing routine, I do test real-world fuel economy, and even though the 1.5 liter VC turbo in the Nissan Rogue products has a much higher EPA highway rating than this 2.5 liter regular four-cylinder, in my real-world testing, they were within 1 mile per gallon difference of each other. And quite frankly, because of the more proven nature of this engine, it's an older design, quite frankly, but it also has less moving parts, it's less complicated. I think that overall, long term, if you were going to keep a car for a long time and try to put a couple 100,000 miles on it, this engine would probably last better than the current VC turbo, just because that one's so much more complicated and it is newer technology. So I actually like the drivetrain in this Outlander better than the Nissan Rogue that I drove. The CVT transmissions are probably just about the same. They do a good job in both of the cars. Both of the vehicles that I drove were front-wheel drive models, so I would give a little bit of an edge to the Outlander in the engine department. So now we're going to measure out the cargo space. Let me go find my laser tape measure and we'll do just that. Okay, so cargo measurement time, starting with the length of the cargo area from the back of the cargo area to the bottom of the back seat of the third row seat. When that's up, you have a whole entire 1 foot and 2 inches of cargo room. You'd realistically have very minimal cargo space, although there is some, but I don't think very many people are going to be using the third row seat in this car, so let's fold them down because they're making me sad. The length of the cargo area from the rear of the cargo area to the bottom of the second row seat with the third row folded flat, 3 feet. The width of the cargo area at its widest point at the rear of the cargo area, with all of these various accessories delodged from their cubby holes, 4 feet and 6 inches. The width of the cargo area at its narrowest point in between the wheel wells is 3 feet and 6 inches. The height of the cargo area right at its opening from there to the cargo floor is 2 feet and 7 inches. The length of the cargo area with the second row seat folded flat is approximately 5 feet and 7 inches. I say approximately because that's the measurement to the back of that front seat, so that could change a little bit based on where you have that set, but it's at kind of a midpoint right now. And if you look here, you can see that you pretty much have a flat load floor with that second row seat folded down and the third row seat folded down, so that's good. That's practical cargo space in the Mitsubishi Outlander. And if you need to lift something into the back of your Mitsubishi Outlander, you'll need to lift it 2 feet and 8 inches. And in here, we have some headrests for the third row seats and a Euro style front plate holder, but you do have some additional storage there. So that is the cargo area in a Mitsubishi Outlander. Okay, we are going to start talking about passenger room now, and we'll start with this third row seat. These are really, truly some of the most useless third row seats I've ever seen. This is your worst case scenario since the second row is adjustable. This is with the second row all the way back and lean back, and you literally have not even 4 fingers worth of leg room there. So if you have a friend or family member with no legs, you can plonk them back here, but I imagine even they would not be happy with this plight. If we move the second row seat all the way forward and kind of lean it forward so it's bolt upright, you actually do have some good room, but nobody is sitting there. So yeah, basically the third row seat, unless your family is full of people who are not very tall, I don't see how this could be of much use to you. But they do give you headrests stoned underneath the floor here, so that is where the headrests are. If you happen to own one of these cars and you can't find them, look under the load floor. So obviously I'm not going to be sitting in the third row, but we will check the first and the second row. I'm 6'5", so let's see if I can sit behind myself in a Mitsubishi Outlander. Okay, so as we can see up front, I have enough room. My knees are not touching the dash. I am sitting upright, but I do have enough room. And in the second row seat, and this is with the second row seat kind of pushed back, my knees are barely touching the seat, but I have enough headroom. I have enough room in the Mitsubishi Outlander. It should be noted in the second row, we do have some air vents. There's a little storage hole right there, and way down low we do have a couple of USB ports, one USB-A, one USB-C, for device charging for the backseat passengers. So, pretty decent cargo room or passenger room, at least in the first 2 rows of the Outlander. Now we're going to move up front and talk about some of the convenience features up here, and the Mitsubishi Outlander SE Black Edition does have some nice features that you might not necessarily expect at this particular price point. You do have automatic headlights, of course, but you also have automatic windshield wipers. That's a little bit of a rare feature at this particular level. You have the power folding side mirrors. That's a nice touch, normally reserved for luxury cars as well. You have a very nice looking 12.3-inch full digital driver display. I've enjoyed that very much in my time with this car. and it's definitely an upgrade over the sort of center display and physical gauges that I had in the Nissan that I drove. This particular model is equipped with the 9-inch screen with the factory navigation system. We also have the smartphone link display, so that means that we get wireless Apple CarPlay, but not wireless Android Auto. You have to plug your Android phone in if you want to use that. You also have a multi-view camera system, which again is a nice touch at this price point. I think this car has a base MSRP of about $33,000. So a surround view camera system, power folding mirrors, automatic wipers, these are all very nice features to have. We do have a front USB-A and USB-C port, along with a 12-volt cigarette lighter style charging outlet to charge our devices in the front of the vehicle. The spec sheet I read online said that the SE Black Edition has wireless charging, but if it has it, I can't figure out where it's at. I have a pad here, but it doesn't charge anything. It just sort of, I don't know, you lay your phone there and it hangs out, which is fine by me because I'm not a huge fan of wireless charging, but just so you know, if that's what you're looking for, doesn't seem to have it. Another thing this car doesn't have is a panoramic sunroof, or indeed any sunroof at all. They're not even optional on these trim levels. I believe you have to move up to the SEL Mitsubishi Outlander to get that. But you do get paddle shifters included, so if you want a feature to ignore and never use, they give you that on a Mitsubishi Outlander SE Black Edition. Now we'll move on to the safety features on this Outlander SE, and again, there are quite a lot of them. We have automatic high beams, so you can make it so your high beams come on when nobody is coming at night and dim themselves when somebody is coming. You have the blind spot warning system with the lane change assist. You have driver attention alert, so if you're starting to fall asleep, it'll beep at you. I will say that I do really like this system in this car. I have a similar system in my 2021 Subaru Legacy, and it drives me insane. This one's a lot less intrusive, so I enjoy that system here. Of course, we have the forward collision mitigation, the emergency braking. It also does pedestrian detection in this car, so make sure to disable that if you want to run somebody over. You have the lane departure warning, so it'll shake the steering wheel if you're drifting out of the lane. You have adaptive cruise control, and since this car has the navigation system, it is upgraded to the My Pilot Assist with navigation link adaptive cruise control. Basically what that means is that when the speed limit changes, it'll give you a little alert and prompt you if you want. You can hit the plus or the minus to adjust your adaptive cruise control speed to the speed limit. And we also have parking sensors with rear automatic braking. So if the surround cameras are not enough to stop you from backing into something, it will brake automatically if it thinks you're going to back into something when you're trying to park. So in conclusion, which one should you buy? A new Mitsubishi Outlander or a new Nissan Rogue? Well, personally, if you were my friend or family member asking my opinion, I would tell you to buy the Outlander. Personally, I like the looks a little bit better, I like the personality of the car a little bit better, and I think that the 2.5 liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder in this particular car will hold up better long term than the 1.5 liter 3-cylinder variable compression turbo that I drove in the 2023 Nissan Rogue that I had reviewed. So in my opinion, the Outlander is the better choice, and it's the one that I would recommend. With all that being said, thank you so much for watching my video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave me a comment. Have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.